Hi everyone, I'm GREYMOND. We're going to be doing OCD Recovery Q&A. So let's get started. The questions that I'm answering here, if you're new to this channel, are the ones that were left under my videos in the last Q&A as well as other videos. So I'm just seeing it on the back end and answering questions. Okay, so the first question is, hi Ali, I was just wondering about my intrusive thought OCD and paranoia. I can refuse the thoughts, but I keep worrying that they might become real. Help. That's kind of what everybody feels when they have OCD. It's, well, I can let go of the thoughts if I know that they're not real, but what if they are? And that what if keeps the person trapped. So what you have to do is say, even though the thoughts feel uncomfortable, even though they don't, they're giving you a lot of anxiety, giving you a lot of emotions, guilt, whatever it may be, right? Even though all of that is happening, you still have to choose to refuse and have to choose to move on. And again, going back to what I say this on every show because there's a lot of people who are new to OCD recovery, to my channel, watching this, that the mind works as a mechanism. Your thoughts that are coming into your mind are coming into your mind on autopilot. So the more you are reacting to something, whatever it is, the more it continues. Because OCD attaches to a topic that really matters to the person, that's why it's so hard not to react, because to you, your theme, whatever you're worried about, that's the worst possible situation to you specifically, right? That's the one that matters to you. To some people, say religion might matter more, so they get religious OCD. Some people like harm OCD, they're afraid to hurt somebody, they're very good person, you know what I mean? Not to say, I can tell you, in 8 years of helping people recover from OCD, I have not had one bad client. You would think over the years you're gonna have a client who is just not being very nice or whatever. I have not had one bad client. People with OCD are generally really, really nice, thoughtful, caring people. It's almost like they are too sensitive, and that's what causes OCD. So it's important to understand that this is happening to you. This is not happening because of you. You are not producing these thoughts. These thoughts are happening to you. And the way you stop it is you stop giving them attention, giving them a reaction. So instead of going from thought to thought, trying to figure out, okay, is this thought real? Okay, I'm not sure. Let me figure it out. Okay, no, it's not real. Moving on, then you get another thought, solving that one, and then that, continuously, right? Instead of that, you're saying, okay, well, you know what? This is an OCD. It's my same theme over and over again. I don't have to do this. You know what I mean? It's when you are recovering from, or when you're in OCD, it feels like you don't have a choice, that you have to research, or you have to think, or you have to do a compulsion or analyze or whatever, right? But you don't. This is OCD tricking you. Your mind thinks that this is important, is giving you all of the feelings as if this thought is important, and that's why you feel the need to do it. But you can still make the choice not to do it, and that's how you stop the mechanism. The mind is going 24/7 now with this thought. Whatever the thought is for you, it's going 24/7 with this. It can't stop itself. That mechanism is in progress, and it's going around and around. It can't stop. You can stop it by saying, this is irrelevant in my life. I'm refusing reaction. And slowly your mind will see that you are not giving it energy, meaning you are not in fear. If you are not in fear, there's no reason to protect you by sending you more thoughts on this theme. And that's how you recover from OCD. That's how it lets go. So it's very important to understand that you are not the cause of OCD, but to get better, you need to change how you are handling OCD thoughts. If you don't change how you're handling OCD thoughts, you're going to have OCD forever, and I'm serious about this, that it really, when I was recovering from OCD, after a while of doing Reassurance over and over and over again, you see that, it's not working. After years of doing Reassurance, you're like, okay, it's clearly not working. So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna have OCD for the rest of your life, or are you gonna fight? So you really, in that way, you really kind of don't have an option. I mean, you can try medication, whatever, kinds of different therapies and all, whatever people kind of are suggesting, the general routes, but it all comes down to when the thought comes into your mind, and it will come into your mind, medication or no medication. When it comes into your mind, what are you going to do? Are you going to take it seriously and get worse? Or are you going to refuse to take it seriously, feel the anxiety, but get better? Those are the two basic choices you have. So it's just about making that choice. No matter how tough it is severe for everybody who experiences OCD. Do you know what I mean? It's once you get into like levels of recovery, then it's better, right? But it's in the beginning, it's severe for everybody. It doesn't matter what kind of thought you have, how trivial it may seem to other people. This is the panic is real to you, so that's the given. But if you are going through panic, but you are refusing, then there's a light at the end of the tunnel. If you are going through panic, but you're going from thought to thought to thought, still being in that panic, but just choosing to solve it, you're really continuing your suffering forever, So it's just realizing that this is the way out. You know what I mean? I'm showing you right now, this is the way to get out of this. You want to get out of this, just follow what I'm saying. And you don't need anything else. You just need to follow this rhythm of just continuously, whatever it's throwing at you, refusing over and over and over again. Because before you were paying attention over and over and over again. So that paying attention has become kind of how your mind has learned that you handle these types of thought with for this particular theme, right? So in order to get better, you need to show repetitively to your mind that you don't care. And it will happen over time, but it will take quite a few repetitions, So that's why I say, recovery takes when I say recovery takes 6 months, I don't mean that you are doing reassurance and in 6 months you're going to get better. I mean that, if you're focused, every day you're taking OCD recovery as if it's your job and you're refusing as if it's your job, then it takes about 6 months. Less, actually, if you're doing it that strong, So you're going to have days where you fail, and that's normal. Everybody fails from time to time. That's fine. We're not robots. I've never, again, in 8 years of helping people, I've never seen even one client who has never ever failed. Everybody fails. I failed I failed spectacularly, as I was recovering, because I didn't even have a plan. I was just failing over and over again, hit rock bottom, and it's like, okay, well, it's clearly not working, so let's try something else, right? So, but it's fine, but you failed, you did reassurance, you did the checking, now move on and try next time to refuse and to handle the trigger correctly, and that's the whole big trick of it. What if you have insomnia? So in terms of insomnia, I'm not sure if you mean insomnia as a general, in the general sense, or because of OCD thoughts. If it's because of OCD thoughts, you have to refuse. You have to refuse to pay attention to the thoughts, and you have to say that, okay, you know what? Even if I'm not sleeping, then I'm gonna lay down and just just try to lay. If it feels like too much and you feel like you are just kind of the thoughts are getting to you, then get up, do something. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to give in to OCD. So if it's happening in the middle of the night and because of that you have insomnia, then you have to allow your mind to focus on something else until you feel better, and then try to go to sleep. In terms of if you have an actual issue with insomnia, then you have to go see and take care of that. But a lot of people have trouble sleeping because of OCD. So next question is, hi Ali, I have harm OCD, and I was wondering what's the difference between confidence and reassurance? Example is, I have a thought, I don't analyze or fight with it and say I would never do that, no point in thinking about that. What the thought means. Is that self-reassurance or confidence? Thank you. See, if you're saying I would, the message, yes, but it's, what is behind that message? So say, are you saying it, I would never do that, that's so silly, I'm not paying attention. That's good. That's a position of power. But if you're saying it, I don't know, I don't think I would ever do this, I'm trying to figure it out, I'm not sure, that's a position of fear. So you have to see not so much the wording, but the message behind the words, how you are actually reacting to it. Hi Ali, I am in recovery, good, but I had an experience where I was praying and it was already feeling anxious with my specific OCD is blasphemy, and I was praying to God, asking him for something, and instead of saying something good and sad, I said a bad thing, but it was like it came up in my heart. Please, can you answer why I can't help but say bad things? Okay, so it causes me anxiety. It has been going on for years, because again, your mind is sending, your fear is religious OCD. Because your fear is religious OCD, what is the worst thing you can do within that theme, right? It's the most common thing, because I talk to a lot of people who have religious OCD, is praying, saying something wrong during prayer. That's the classic, So, and these things just come up in your mind automatically because your brain throws it to you automatically in order to protect you from what you fear, because you fear religious OCD. You just have to say, nothing to do with me. Thoughts are coming up in my mind. I'm not trying to figure out if the thoughts are coming from me or not. I'm not doing it from a position of fear. I'm not doing any of that. You can say whatever it wants. I'm letting it be. I'm moving on. It's a very, very common thing. I mean, it doesn't get more classic than this type of thought when it comes to religious OCD. So it's just, you just have to see it for what it is. It's just a mechanism in your mind. It really has nothing to do, it's, all of this actually has, in terms of religious OCDs, right? It has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do, lighting is actually a little funny today, sorry guys. But it has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with God. This is just because religion is important to you. It got stuck on religion. You know what I mean? It could have got stuck on any other topic that's important to you. It happened to be religion for you right now. That's the only thing that happened. So don't confuse OCD with religion. Let it tell you whatever it wants on whatever topic it wants, and don't give it a reaction. And that's how you'll recover. And once you recover, you will see, you'll still get that proof that none of it was coming from you. But until you take that leap and refuse, nothing is going to happen. You know what I mean? It's not going to get better until you do that. So you have to choose to refuse the thought, whatever, it comes up with, some profanity or something bad or whatever, in however way. It's like, okay, yeah, that's a thought. The thought is over here. What do we say every video? The thought is over here. I'm over here. I'm not paying attention. Whatever it's saying over there, I don't care. I'm choosing to pray. I'm doing what I want to do. Whatever it says, I don't care. That should be the general outlook. And again, fails happen from time to time with this stuff, but most of the time you need to be succeeding in order to show your brain that this doesn't matter. That's how you recover. And somebody wrote, wow, you are here from 7 years. Yeah, it's been a long time. So another common type of OCD is typing, the typing type of OCD, like typing a sentence, like in that sense. Typing text, getting thought, erasing it, retyping. It is OCD. Yeah, it is OCD, and it's just it's going to make you very uncomfortable. You type it and you leave it, and do this exercise over and over and over again. So you type something, you leave it, you feel uncomfortable. Okay, then the uncomfortableness will die down. It won't be there forever. While it's there, you have to refuse reaction. Hi Ali, I also had a question about OCD recovery process. The mornings are usually when harm OCD hits the hardest. But by disregarding it, slowly goes away throughout the day. Comes back slightly from time to time, but comes back hard the following morning. Before, it was constant intrusive thoughts the whole day. Would you say OCD is slowly diminishing? Yes, I would say so. Through the recovery, what happens is people get more and more breaks in OCD. So you'll say, for the last few hours, I haven't had an OCD thought, or wow, for an entire day, I haven't had an OCD thought, and then for a week, I didn't have an OCD thought. And you almost don't realize while it's happening, but you kind of look back and you're like, wow, I had a really good day. Oh, I didn't have OCD today. That's going to happen more and more. That is recovery. That you're doing good. If you're experiencing that, for anybody out there, you're doing good. If you're experiencing an increase in not just the amount of thoughts, because usually at first when you start to refuse, your mind will actually throw more thoughts at you to try to get you back into reaction, because that's what it's comfortable with. It's trying to warn you more because you're not listening to the warning, basically. So that's fine. But if you are continuously feeling that you are drowning, you're paying a lot of attention to the OCD thoughts, you're really getting into it, then that's, that's obviously, not good. Next one is, usually, like what you were saying about OCD being the worst in the mornings, that's the case, not for everybody, but for a lot of people, just because the reason being is serotonin levels, and this is, again, I'm not a doctor, but serotonin levels are lower naturally in the morning, and also your mind is pretty clear in the morning. So there's not a lot going on, right? You just woke up, right? So naturally, your mind will warn you of danger, just like, say, for example, in the primitive sense, right? As soon as, say if you were, I don't know, sleeping in the middle of a jungle, just to say, right? You'd wake up, you'd be like, lions anywhere? This is, your mind's considering this to be like the same thing, so. Hi, Ali. Last year in December, I had the worst time of my life starting suffering harm OCD. It happened all at once. I started watching your videos and some other videos online. I suffered for months until I saw this one video from some anonymous, and it said stuff about imagining your worst OCD thought comes true and be okay with it. And day by day, things got better for me. The thought kept coming back, my reaction to it. Okay, so basically, yeah, when you imagine what is the worst, and then you are saying, you don't want to say you're okay with it in terms of like, I'm the worst person in the world, I'm okay with it. You don't want to say that, because that's not true. But what you want to say is, my mind is saying that I'm the worst person in the world. It's been saying that for years. I know it's OCD. I know it's just a mechanism. I'm not buying into it, so I'm okay with it. It has to be coming from that way. And, that's a really, just how I explained it, that's kind of a very clear way of putting the concept of acceptance of OCD. How can I accept these thoughts? Well, you accept them as signals being sent to you by the mind that thinks this is important, But you don't accept the content, you accept the whole thing as being part of OCD. And yeah, part of people who have OCD, as my specific team, get these types of thoughts. Big deal. You know what I mean? In that way, you want to accept it. You want to sound in your head, right? When you're thinking about these thoughts, you want to sound annoyed, sick of it, not dealing with it anymore in that sense. You don't want to be coming from a position of fear. When you're annoyed, that's not a position of fear, and that's really where you want to be in. So next question is, hi Ali, I talked to you last time about avoidance. I want to quit something, but I'm still not able to quit because my mind alerts me. You have to stop listening to the alerts. So it can tell you whatever it wants, but you have to stop listening. And it gives me various reasons that you are avoiding. This is a new theme, and when I talked to you, you told me that if you don't have OCD, sorry, I'm just trying to understand. That if you don't have OCD, do you quit? Yes, I quit because there's a lot of unduly, I'm not sure what you're saying here. But I'm not really understanding what you're trying to say. But what you have to say is, so anyways, the end of the question is, I'm confused what I'm doing. Is it compulsion or exposure? So, okay, so let's approach it from this way. What is the difference between a compulsion and an exposure? Because a lot of the times they can be a very similar scenario. And the difference is in your reaction. Are you doing things out of fear, and are you reacting to things with fear? So an exposure happened, say it was not even, not an on-purpose exposure, but just happened, right? Are you reacting with fear or not? Or say, for example, like, if we take, I'm not sure if this is relevant to you specifically, but generally, right? If you take somebody who likes to clean a lot, right? And they're just a clean person, they just like to clean a lot. They want everything to be spotless. Is that giving them anxiety? Say, for example, one day it's not spotless. Does it give them anxiety? No, they're okay with it, but they like it to be better. They like it to be perfect, right? That's not really OCD, because there's no anxiety, there's no fear. But if a person has to have it clean, because if it's not clean, then something else is going to happen. If they're going to get, some sort of a disease, or something's going to get ruined, or whatever the case may be, there's fear behind it, then that's OCD. So that's the difference. Is there fear in this? If there's fear, then you have to change to the position of power. So next question is, hi Ali, thank you so much for sharing knowledge. Your videos have helped me a great deal. I'm wondering if that despite your profound knowledge and recovery, do you yourself still have OCD thoughts? No, I don't have OCD thoughts. And this is kind of another important point, is that the thoughts that you are having right now, with that extreme, and you know how when you talk to other people and they're like, this is not even very likely at all, this would never even happen, why would you even work, those kinds of things, right? You won't be getting them after you recover. Those go away completely. Now, will you never ever have anxiety again? Yes, you will have anxiety in daily life, right? Will you never ever get caught up in whatever again? Probably from time to time, but that's normal human behavior. Do you know what I mean? That's not fear. You won't. It's just normal. People are happy. People are sad. To that extent, everybody has that. But to the extent where there's something wrong, you can't function, you are having thoughts that nobody else has, you are worrying to the level nobody else would worry, it will go away completely. Believe me, I promise you, do the work, it will go away. It went away for me. I'm not the strongest, most, strong willpowered person on the planet by far. So if it happened for me, it's going to happen for you, And it's afterwards, those thoughts that you get that you were so worried about now just seems so silly, So you will get that reassurance in the end. Next question, or next comment is, I do agree with Ali. I have only started to recover with her recovery program and her videos, but doctor hasn't really helped at all. Thank you, Ali, for, well, you're very welcome. I wish the doctors would do more. To me, it's just unbelievable that there's so much information now on OCD online. There's, it's not that, again, this is a long topic, but what really bothers me about the doctors is the approach to the client. When I talk to the client, I understand what they're going through, because I've been there. I understand what their family is going through, because my family has been there. So there's a personal approach here where I care what happens to that person. Do you know what I mean? They're not a number, you know what I mean? But to a doctor, it is just a number. And I don't understand why a doctor can't open a book, open a book, you know what I mean? Besides the books that you've learned a million years ago in medical school, learn something new, learn the new ways of what's actually happening to people, what are people experiencing. There's so much information. It's the unwillingness to learn that really gets to me, when there's actually people's lives and the lives of their entire families are on the line, the quality of their lives, it's just, it's disheartening is what it is, These are real people with, very severe situations who have come to you for help, and you can't help them, but you still charge them money. But, I talk to people and they're like, I've been seeing a psychiatrist for years and years. Not better at all. That's why I'm coming to see you. And it's like, well, okay, why are you seeing them for years and years if they can't, if, again, not to get into it, but if, my clients recover on average in, a few months, and it's because it's not that they don't want to help you recover, it's that most of them don't know how to. And if you're listening to this video, there's other channels on YouTube as well. If you're listening to all that and you're learning, you can be your own doctor and you can help yourself recover. I'm not saying don't see a doctor, but I'm saying that, it's you control your health. You know what I mean? Don't rely on somebody else to do it for you. You can do this. I did this. You can do this. You just have to actually do it. You have to push and you have to do it. So anyways, whenever I talk about doctors, it's like I get off track, lose time, it's the whole thing. It just makes me angry because I experienced it, you know? It's the whole thing of it with it. I guess I'll just keep talking about it because I only have 4 minutes left, and I'll do because I have so much questions still, so I'll do the other ones in part 2. But, you know, when I just remember that feeling when you're sitting in the office completely helpless, and you're looking at a doctor and you're realizing that they can't actually, well, this was what happened to me anyways, that they can't actually help you, and you don't have plan B, and you don't know what's happening to you, and you're there and you're completely alone. And it's probably the most frightened I've ever felt in my entire life. And I'm sure, you know, you guys listening to this are, you know, understand exactly what I'm talking about, you know? This shouldn't be happening. It really shouldn't be. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here just because I have so many more questions, and then I will continue in part 2. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. I'll see you in part 2. If you haven't visited youhaveocd.com, please visit. There's a recovery program, it's private recovery program with, you know, just one-on-one with me and you to, if you need additional help in helping recover. There's videos, there's all kinds of information. So please check that out. I'll see you in the next video.